say thank you for the tremendous support you provide NARAL Pro-Choice America. Tonight's event is in the middle of what can only be called a war on women, making our work more necessary than ever. Here in Washington, the House of Representatives have gone from trying to redefine rape to allowing hospitals to refuse to provide emergency abortion care to women who will die without it. They also want to force rape survivors who choose abortion care to prove to an IRS agent that they were assaulted. The callousness and hypocrisy that defines the war on women doesn't end here in Washington. Last year, states enacted twice as many anti-choice measures than in 2010. Does any of this sound like the smaller, less intrusive government focused on jobs that lawmakers promised voters? No, without question. The war on women is out of touch with our country's values and our priorities. Folks, we're putting out fires every day, but we are also seeing examples of hope and courage. Last November in Mississippi, voters overwhelmingly rejected a so-called personhood ballot measure. It would have outlawed abortion, could have banned common forms of birth control, and in vitro fertilization. In Congress last year, you remember this, Representative Jackie Speer of California shared her heartbreaking story of terminating a wanted pregnancy when she encountered health-threatening complications. Her story transformed the debate and received an outpouring of support from across our country. And just last week, the Obama administration stood up to intense lobbying from anti-choice contraception groups and made the decision that will guarantee insurance coverage of birth control without a copay for millions of American women. A huge victory. So every time a woman goes to the pharmacy and picks up her birth control without a copay, we are reminded of why it matters to have a friend in the White House. Bottom line, elections matter. And that's why I believe that at the end of the day, it will be our determination that will crush their anti-choice hypocrisy. At NARAL Pro-Choice America, we are ready for the battle of 2012, and we're going to win it. Choice is a winning issue, and we know it creates a clear contrast between candidates who share our values and their anti-choice opponents. Specifically, we have identified pro-choice women in battleground states who turned out in 2008, but they're not inclined to do so in 2012. We can't let them stay home. By drawing the contrast between pro-choice and anti-choice candidates running for office from the White House to the State House, we're going to bring these women voters back into the fold, and damn quick. Situated to help accomplish this goal because these women voters care deeply about choice. And they trust us. When we tell them why voting pro-choice makes a difference in their lives, in their daughters' lives, and their granddaughters' lives. Sometimes this all seems overwhelming. I get that. But I want to leave you with a story that for me represents why we do this work. As many of you know, I grew up in Anaconda, Montana, a town in the heart of the state's mining country. My dad worked at a copper smelter, and he had a brass tag. On it was his number, 720. You see, workers like my dad threw their number in the bucket as they arrived for their shift. The brass tag was a marker that they had shown up. The smelter was a tough and dangerous place, where copper was boiling at 1200 degrees. At the end of the day, workers hung their tags on a pegboard so their buddies would know they made it out safely. Now, I laugh sometimes at what my dad would think when I complain about dealing with the ins and outs of Microsoft Office. Or if my iPad takes too much time to download the app. There was no Control-Alt-Delete at the smelter. It was hot. It was dirty. It was a dark place full of suffocating dust. And every day, my dad threw that number in the bucket. He did it for his family, his co-workers, his community, his country. My dad passed away when I was in my early 20s, before I had decided to run for public office. I carried his brass tag with me during every campaign in Montana. To me, my dad's number symbolized the importance of sticking together. It reminded me of the values of hard work, fair wages, safe working conditions. It reminded me why the political process is so important to our lives. At a time when so many Americans are anxious about our country's future, I think it represents how important it is for us to stand with each other in solidarity for the pro-choice values we share. So tonight, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for showing up. But I need more. I need you to talk about what you hear tonight with someone in your life you've never, ever talked about: abortion. It takes the inconvenience sometimes of wading into really uncertain waters, of starting a conversation when you're not sure where it might go. And I can honestly say, you might walk into a few firestorms. And I guarantee that you're going to feel the heat. But I want you to think about my dad, that smelter. Like him and his co-workers, we'll get through this together. I know none of it's easy, but it is important. And I want you to remember that you have the power to reach out to at least one person and connect the personal with the political, to ensure that vote by vote by vote, we will end this war on women. We will end it. every day between now and November 6th. Post about choice on Facebook or Twitter. Volunteer at our phone banks. Take a pro-choice friend, neighbor, or family member to the polls. I need you to stand up for those elected officials who have stood with us. And you have got to fight back when they are attacked. They have stood with us, stand with them. And I need you to speak up when you hear anti-choice comments or read them online or wherever else. Speak up. Step into the fire. Tonight, I need you to throw your number in the bucket for choice. Thank you for your support, your passion, your courage. I'm going to see you guys on the campaign trail.